Let's work on solving systems of equations using substitution. Substitution is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to take the value of one variable and substitute it in for the other. So let's look at a couple of examples. Our first example is x plus y equals 13 and x equals 2. Keep in mind, when we're solving systems of equations, our answer is going to be an ordered pair. So it's going to be x comma y, and we're looking for a value of x and a value of y, where, if you remember back to graphing, where our two lines are going to intersect. So it is the x and y value that will make both of these equations true. So you see that x equals 2, and that's very straightforward, because what I'm going to do is I am going to substitute 2 where I see x, because the goal is to just get one variable in the equation so we can solve it. So I'm going to substitute 2 for x, and that will be 2 plus y, I'm changing all these colors around, equals 13. Okay, and you can see that the only difference is that I substituted 2 for x. All right, well, now let's just solve this equation, okay? If we want to get y, we're going to say subtract 2 from both sides. This is going to cancel out, and I'm going to end up with y equals 11. So my y is going to be 11. Well, what is my x? Well, it says right here, x equals 2. So there we go. The solution to this system of equations is x equals 2 and y equals 11. Well, let's check that, okay? If x is 2, that means 2 plus 11, because y is 11, has to equal 13. And that is going to check out. And x equals 2, well, obviously, that's our 2 that we put in the parentheses, okay? So we know that this is correct. All right, let's look at this one. Now we have 2x plus y is equal to negative 9, and x equals y. Well, if x equals y, then I can substitute x where I have a y. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say 2x plus, now I'm going to put another x instead of this y. So 2x plus x, because x and y are equal, is equal to negative 9. And now I'm just going to combine my like terms. 2x plus x is 3x. And so 3x has to be equal to negative 9. And now I'm just going to divide both sides by 3. Okay, and this is going to cancel out. And I'm left with x is equal to negative 3. Well, guess what? If x is negative 3, y has to be negative 3 because they're equal, right? The second equation says x equals y. So my ordered pair is going to have to be negative 3 comma negative 3. And let's check that out. Let's put it into the first equation. 2 times negative 3 plus negative 3 should equal negative 9. Well, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, plus negative 3 equals negative 9, and that is indeed true. Okay, and again, obviously x equals y because they're both -3. All right, let's look at one last one, and let's see if we can figure this out. Now, I've done away with the color coding here, but let's think about what this means. Our first equation says y equals 4x plus 1, and our second equation says y also equals 5x minus 1. How is that possible, that y can be equal to these two things? The only way that that can be possible is if these two things are equal to each other. So if y is equal to both of them, then that means 4x plus 1 has to be the same as 5x minus 1. That's the only way they can both be equal to y. All right, now let's collect our variables. I want a positive variable, so I'm going to subtract, whoops, let's make it nice and big. I'm going to subtract 4x from this side, so I have to subtract 4x from here. This is going to cancel out. Let's make it a little bit smaller. And that's going to leave me with 1. And 5x minus 4x is just 1x. So x minus 1. And now I'm going to add 1. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. This will cancel out, and x will be equal to 2. Okay, so now let's go back. So I know that x is equal to 2 now. The question is, what is y? Well, in order to do that, I can substitute 2 for x in either one of these. I like addition. I think it's easier. So let's do y equals 4x plus 1. Okay, and if we said x is 2, y equals 4 times 2 plus 1. So y equals 8 plus 1. So y has to equal 9. Okay, so let's put 9 up here. And just to be sure, I want to check it in my second equation. So my second equation is y equals 5x minus 1. And again, x is 2. So y equals 5 times 2 minus 1. And that's 10 minus 1. And so y equals 9, and you see up here that it does. So voila, we have found our solution to our system of equations.